Hmm. Oh, hey, I didn't see you come in there. Don't you ever knock? How's it going, guys? Cameron here with Canadian Gamer coming at you with another video. It's been a while since I jumped in front of the camera. I have been busy. Today we are going to talk about the recently released Donkey Kong Country Bananza. Now, folks, I haven't played the game. I'm limited, obviously, as to what I can say. But there's something that I did want to get off my chest. So, obviously I'm a kid of the 90s. I like to say 90s because I was born in 83. So, although I grew up in the 80s technically, I was too young to really remember that period of my life. But obviously once I got into, being around 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 years old, early 90s, mid 90s, a little bit more memorable, right? So, 1993 was a big year for me. Subscribed to Nintendo Power. I remember getting that VHS tape in the mail. I think it was in 1993. Maybe it was in early 1994. The Donkey Kong Country promo VHS tape. It was really cool to have that. I played that constantly. I'm like, this game looks incredible. Got Donkey Kong Country for Christmas. Loved it. Played the shit out of it. Got Donkey Kong Country 2 for Christmas. At one point in my life, I owned Donkey Kong Country 3 much, much later, years later, when I had repurchased the Super Nintendo and I bought the Donkey Kong Country games pretty cheap at the time. You could go into a thrift store, believe it or not, you could buy these games for $20, $25. Fast forward to more modern times. We've got the modernized Donkey Kong Country games that were released on the Nintendo Wii and the Wii U, and then later re-released on the Switch. And those are okay. Those didn't really resonate with me quite the same as the original trilogy. And then there was a bunch of other spin-offs as well. So, fast forward to today. You guys, again, you're enjoying the Switch 2 that came out a little over a month ago. I still don't know anybody that owns one. I have not seen one in the wild. I've never laid my hands on one. And we haven't really seen any killer apps for the system. You got Mario Kart World, which was the launch title. Really bizarre launch title. I don't really understand that. Really strange. And now we've got Donkey Kong Country Bananza, which has come out. So, I want to just share my thoughts on the game. Not the gameplay, but what I think of the game from what I've seen so far. So, it looks like it's a little bit of it's a mix between Red Faction on the PS2 and No Man's Sky. There's obviously some terrain deformation, being able to bust open the ground and dig down. And I actually think that's kind of cool. I like that stuff. I played No Man's Sky on the PS4. Now, I didn't play it for very long just because it seemed very time-consuming. But I really did enjoy what I had played. I really did. I thought it was really cool. So, Donkey Kong Country Bananza, it kind of has that sort of aspect. I think that's where the similarities end between that game and these games. And I guess the developer is the same team that did Super Mario Odyssey. Correct me if I'm wrong. So this is really the killer app right now for the Nintendo Switch 2. So I get it. You want to have a game that can really showcase what the console can offer as far as graphics and horsepower is concerned. But for the adult gamer, the 42-year-olds such as myself, as cool as Donkey Kong Country Bananza looks to a certain extent, it's not something that really appeals to me. It just does not. Could I see myself paying $100 Canadian for that game? No, I can't. What I would really like to see is either another Donkey Kong Country game, a 2D side-scroller, okay? Or I would like to see anybody remake or remaster the original 3 games that were released on the Super Nintendo. That's what I would like to see. Release it as a trilogy combo pack. I think it would sell like gangbusters. But Donkey Kong Bananza is just something that really, I guess, would appeal to a younger generation. It's not for me, and I understand that. I get it. But I'm just kind of disappointed by it because, I have a deep connection to Donkey Kong Country. I really do. And a lot of us do. So when I see a new Donkey Kong game come out and it's not anything like Donkey Kong Country, it just sort of, I don't know. It just disappoints me. It really does. I don't know. It's like, I've talked about it before, but like, obviously I'm a huge fan of arcade racers. Outrun as an example. And I would love nothing more than to get a proper, like a new version of Outrun. But the same aesthetic. Super scalar, by Sega or whoever develops it. Hopefully we get it. Sega's, dipping into their IPs lately, but it's the same with Donkey Kong Country. Anytime I think about Donkey Kong, the character, I think about Donkey Kong Country. I think about especially those Super Nintendo games, especially the first 2 games. So Donkey Kong Bananza, well, I'm sure it's a good game. I'm sure there's a good game there somewhere. It's ventured too far off the familiar path for me. It just... I'm looking at it. I see there's some potential. I'm sure there's a fun experience there somewhere. But you got IGN over here calling it a masterpiece. Anything Nintendo is a masterpiece, according to IGN. Okay, I don't know how much money Nintendo paid IGN to constantly praise their games and call all of their games masterpieces, 10 out of 10 experiences. But yeah, it just looks kind of poor, to be honest with you. I don't know. They're giving us this open world 3D adventure, and that's just really not what I want. I don't want another Donkey Kong Country 64. I want a proper 2D side-scrolling adventure. Is that too much to ask? Is it? Oh my god. Oh my god. Leave it in the comments below. Did you pick up Donkey Kong Bananza? Okay, what are your thoughts on this game? What are your thoughts on the fact that Nintendo is too lazy to develop their games in-house anymore, and they've got all these other indie studios that are making their games for them? Leave in the comments below. Let me know. Have you played it? Is it any good? Am I way off base here? Is it a masterpiece? Let me know in the comments below. Anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this video. Thanks so much for watching. Have a good weekend.